Hello everyone, my name is Apple Guy, and welcome back to another Disneycember video. Today I will be discussing my stay at the Disneyland Hotel. When I stayed at Disneyland earlier this year, as opposed to staying at the Grand Californian Hotel where my family regularly stays, we decided to stay at the Disneyland Hotel instead. This was mainly done because there were no rooms available at the Grand Californian Hotel. As you guys may or may not know, that is a hotel my family really appreciates. It's where we frequently stay, and we have a lot of good memories there. You can check out the video linked in the iCard or linked in the playlist in the description where I discuss why my family enjoys the Grand Californian Hotel so much. But due to the circumstances, we stayed at the Disneyland Hotel, and this will be a video review of my experience at the Disneyland Hotel. A little bit of background knowledge for the Disneyland Hotel. There are 3 towers of the Disneyland Hotel. They're each themed after a land in Disneyland. The main one, the one with the main entrance and the front desk and the shop, is the Fantasy Tower. This tower I didn't spend too much time in at all. In fact, I only walked in to get into the hotel and walked out on the final day because I actually stayed in the Adventure Tower. The Adventure Tower was where my room was, as well as the e-ticket lounge, which is the premium club level that the hotel offers. It is the equivalent of the veranda, or formerly known as the Craftsman's Lounge, I believe, at the Grand Californian Hotel. I'll be discussing that a bit further in the video. The final tower that was available is the Frontier Tower, and I truthfully have no clue what that tower has, besides a gym, because my dad went to the gym a few times. That's sort of a general overview. I'll be focusing on the Adventure Tower, as that is what I am most experienced with. The Adventure Tower was fairly well themed. I could tell that it was definitely going for that old Adventureland vibe, not really the Indiana Jones Adventureland, more the Jungle Cruise Adventureland, so to speak. There was lots of Jungle Cruise memorabilia, there were some statues, there was some artwork. The hallways looked very adventure-y, and there's not too much else to say about that. The hallways serve their purpose of getting me to and from the entrance to my room, and also to the e-ticket lounge. I will say, however, that the elevators were incredibly slow. I know there are 11 floors and hundreds of people in the building, but holy buckets, was waiting for an elevator at the main elevators such a pain. Thankfully, there were some side elevators that were right outside the hotel room that my family and I were staying in, so we kind of had our own little secret elevator that we could use that was fairly quick. But the main elevators, if you didn't catch one when it was right there, it would take almost a minute to fully cycle through. It was quite something. But I suppose if I'm mentioning my family's hotel room, I should divulge the information about said hotel room. My family and I had a premium view which showed off downtown Disney, or more accurately, the construction of downtown Disney. And we had 2 queen beds and 1 day bed. Queen beds are just your standard beds on the 2 sides of the room, and the day bed is a couch that has the top part fold down into a bed. It's a little bit better in theory than a pull-out couch that you'd see in a lot of hotels that were had larger rooms, but it was by no means a good bed. It was very springy, it was very not mattressy, and it was very cold. So overall, a hotel sleeping experience and a half. I think that I was probably the only one in my family who was brave enough to sit and sleep on that bed. It truthfully wasn't the worst. I mean, it was better than sleeping on the floor, but it was not by any means the most comfortable of beds. I think they have a very similar setup at the Grand Californian Hotel, but that one just, in my memory, feels so much nicer. Maybe it's just the feeling of being there. It's just nostalgia, but I think that one was probably a little nicer in my head, at least. As far as the other details of the hotel room, it was fairly well themed. There was a neat little display with lights and music. When you flicked on the lamp on the center table between the 2 queen beds, it showed some firework lights above the beds and played a little bit of music. It was the "A Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes" lullaby song, kind of creepy. It's slow and drags on for a really long time. It was fun to kind of make creepy faces and stare at each other as it was playing on. It was probably my favorite part of that hotel room, was just making some jokes with my family about the weirdness. As far as like water pressure and bathroom situation goes, I mean, it was a standard hotel affair. I can't really say that it was the most wonderful of showers, but I'd say it was equivalent with a shower you'd have at the Grand Californian, or any shower you'd take in a hotel. Low water pressure, kind of hard to figure out how to turn the dial to get it to be warm, but eventually it clicks and you're pretty well to move on. Speaking of moving on, we will now move on to my little review of the e-ticket lounge. As mentioned earlier, the e-ticket lounge is the premium add-on to the hotel experience. It allows you to have access to the 11th floor lounge area. There's a buffet where you can get some food. There's also some special events that happen there, such as we saw Santa visit and read a storybook. That was pretty neat. They also host firework viewing parties where they will turn off all the lights and play the music for the fireworks so you can see out into Disneyland, even though you're not in Disneyland. It's a nice thing to be able to have access to. I think that's generally the consensus my family had, is that being able to go, oh shoot, it's like 5:30 and we need to eat something, and just being able to go down and get a meal there, or wake up in the morning and get breakfast, or grab water or a soda or whatever you want, is generally a neat thing to have. And the events are pretty neat too. Nothing I would really go out of my way for. I wouldn't check the clock and be like, God, zooks, it's 3:30, we gotta make it to 4 o'clock Santa. Or go out of my way to watch the fireworks there, because you do miss out on a lot of the fireworks not being in person, the loud booms and that sort of thing. But like I said, very, very nice to have. It's definitely something my family won't go without at this point, but I can't necessarily recommend it. It is a lot of money, and it sort of has diminishing returns, at least at the Disneyland Hotel, in my opinion. As I said in my Grand Californian Hotel video, we have a lot of friends in the veranda, which is their equivalent of the e-ticket lounge, and it would be a real shame to not be able to see those folks. And generally, I think they had a better set of offerings. The offerings at the Disneyland Hotel, as far as food goes, was different. Not necessarily better or worse per se if you were going in without any experience for one or the other. I think I'm just used to what they have at the Grand Californian Hotel, so not having access to something like the donut bar, or the fruit being, large wedges instead of little fingers, is just different. Not really what I was expecting. I would definitely choose the veranda over the e-ticket lounge any day of the week. But like I said, if you have not experienced neither, I don't think it would necessarily be a good idea to start. If you get by without them, you're probably better off for it. You'll save money. Fun fact, the original reason why my family started paying for these extra amenities was because during one of our stays at the Disneyland Hotel, we were actually chosen to get a free upgrade. And for that free upgrade, we were given access to the e-ticket lounge, or whatever it was at the time. I don't think it was the e-ticket lounge at that point. It was, like 2007 maybe. And yeah, that's the original reason why we started paying, because we got a taste of it, and my parents were hooked. Another side fun fact was actually when I first walked into that e-ticket lounge, one of the employees was very excited to see me, and I was a little confused at that, and I went to get my water and whatever, and eventually he came up to me and said he recognized me, but it wasn't from recently. He said, have you been here before? And I said, gosh, it would have been like 15 years ago. He's like, I think I remember you, which was interesting. I made that into a little bit of a meme with my family. It was a little odd in my head, but nice to be remembered. I guess that's just what happens when you're a famous YouTuber like me. The final thing I want to note about the e-ticket lounge was that it actually had some pretty cool aesthetics. I don't know if I got any pictures or videos of the glass display cases they had, but they had some figures of the Haunted Mansion ghosts. They had some figures of Pirates of the Caribbean skeleton pirates, and they also had a little box on the wall of all the original Disneyland tickets, the A tickets or the E tickets, which is where the room gets its namesake. It was very interesting to see a little bit of history there. A lot of history in the hotel. If you seek it out, you shall find it. There's some displays about the hotel through the decades and the old owners. Lots of fun stuff if you're a fan of Disneyland and Disneyland history. The last thing I want to mention is that on the Disneyland Hotel property, there is a restaurant. It is called Trader Sam's Enchanted Tiki Bar, and I did not personally go and visit this restaurant. However, my parents and my older sister brought back a meal to the hotel room at one point from the restaurant, so I was sort of able to get a taste of what the food is like. Granted, this was a short walk away, so, coldness, temperature-wise, the food might not have been piping hot, but that's not the hotel or the restaurant's fault. That's just the fault of having to take it from one place to another. It was a pretty standard affair. I don't think it's anything to write home about. It was a collection of kind of unique things. They had some gyoza, they had some ramen, they had chicken fingers, so quite a bit of variety there. Hamburger, that was interesting. Yeah, just sort of a mix. Very useful to have, I think, be able to go and get food and drinks whenever you need. I can't say anything for the theming on it. I think I've heard good things about it from just other YouTubers that I catch my parents watching every once in a while, but I have no personal account for that. I can say that the food that I ate was pretty good, and that's what you can expect from a hotel. To summarize my thoughts, I really enjoyed the theming and the overall aesthetics of the hotel. The property was very, very beautiful. They had a nice little geyser display outside the Frontier Tower that I mentioned earlier. There was a little gazebo. I think they host weddings there. That was very, very nice. The flowers looked great. There was a Mickey Mouse in the plants. I remember taking a video of that, so I'm going to show that. And then there was, palm trees and whatnot outside the Adventure Tower to make you feel like you were in the wild jungles. I think it was a fair enough hotel. I don't think, given the choice, I would switch from the Grand Californian Hotel to the Disneyland Hotel, and that is price aside and friends aside. I just think the sheer convenience of the Grand Californian Hotel being smack dab in the middle of downtown Disney, having access to its own entrance into Disney California Adventure, that sort of thing just outweighs the Disneyland Hotel's differences. Given the choice to stay there again, I wouldn't reject it by any means. If next year when my family goes to Disneyland, the only choice is a room at the Disneyland Hotel, I would gladly accept it. There is nothing by any means wrong with the Disneyland Hotel. I just find that as a hotel experience, there's better options. As an aesthetic experience, I think everyone should take a quick peek if you have time when you're visiting Disneyland. You can walk in through the little magic sorcerer hat and just take a peek around. No one will stop you or anything. I think it's worth taking a peek over. There's a lot of interesting stuff to see. You could take some pretty nice pictures, I bet, if you're a picture-taking folk. I don't have any complaints about what the hotel looks like, and truthfully, it wasn't a bad hotel. It was just a hotel, and I think when you're paying Disneyland prices, you expect better than a hotel, and I think that's what the Grand Californian can provide. The Disneyland Hotel by no means is a bad hotel. It's just not above and beyond, which I think you would expect. That is going to sum up my thoughts on the Disneyland Hotel and also wrap up this video. I want to thank you all so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and tell your friends about my channel if you think they would enjoy it. It means a lot to me when you guys spread my videos around, and I'll catch you guys all back here next time for the next Disneycember video. Until then, as always, take care.